Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel. Definitely appreciate you all taking time out of your day to pay me a visit. Today I'm going to be painting up a few Squarebill 1.5 crankbaits. The goal is to match the hatch of this shad that I snagged on the Fox River back in October. I do believe it's a gizzard shad, but through my research I really couldn't confirm it. All those shads really look the same to me, so that's what the aim is, to reproduce. And let's go ahead and get started. As with normal with these, I normally paint up about 4 identical lures at a time. It's just a lot more efficient. And if I had more of these helping hands, I'd probably be doing more than 4 at a time. I'll obviously be cutting the video to just show really the progress of one of these. I might throw a few little bits of variation into the 4 different ones, and I'll show you the 4 finished products at the end. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Step 1 is always putting a white base coat on there, and for that I use the Wicked colors by Cretex, just standard opaque white. I use the Wicked line because the standard Cretex, the opaque white is just really thick. It clogs up my Iwata Neo airbrush. I find the Wicked color, the Wicked lineup in general is a lot better. You definitely get what you pay for. But with the opaque colors, they definitely shoot a lot nicer than the standard Cretex lineup. All right, we got the white base coat. I only put one coat on. Yeah, I don't really see a need for a second coat for these. That first layer went on pretty nicely. So the next thing we're gonna do is put a pearl white on the bottom half. I really like the pearlized colors. I really think it really makes these lures pop. And guys, just one editing note. Between these colors, I am heat setting each paint coat. I'm just using a really cheap Harbor Freight heat gun. I was using a hair dryer beforehand. Both work, but just for noise and expedience, I edit those heat sets out. So, but if anyone's curious, I do heat set between every color. And really actually every spray. So next up we'll be doing a pearl silver, and we're going to be keeping the belly white, and the silver is going to be the last half and the kind of the upper half. Okay, so the last color we're going to be using here is transparent black. And I prefer the transparent black over the opaque so that you can blend it just a little bit nicely. Or nicer, I suppose I should say. Especially for this, because we're going to be going light in a few areas and dark in some other areas. And the transparent black just gives you a lot more control over that. So we're going to first put the lateral line on. And for lateral lines on these 1.5 Squarebills, the tool that I've created is I took a lid for a Jello shot container, something that looks like this, and I just cut a line in it. You just kind of size it up. It works fairly well. It's cheap. I already had these containers. I used to mix my paint in them. They're pretty cheap, but I'm a super cheap person, so what I actually did instead of using these Jello shot containers is if I ever mix a color, I use condiment cups. I also mix my epoxy in these condiment cups. They're like a quarter of the cost of these, and these things are already cheap enough to begin with. So just a little tip. With these, just kind of put it right past the gill plate there. Line it up. So this is a dark lateral line that we're going to do it. So we're just going to lather it on there. It's important to make sure that you hold this still. And I don't necessarily have the calmest hands, so we're going to do our best on this. Yeah, that worked out okay. I want to move that up just a hair. Just like that. Some of you might be asking, why didn't I just cut this in deeper for the entire length? This started kind of losing its structural rigidity, so I stopped cutting because it's flimsy enough as it is. Alright, so what I'm going to do for the other top half of this is very, very lightly spray this transparent black on it. It'll be very easy on the trigger. Alright, the very last step for the paint here is the shad spot. And again, out of my tricks of my trade here, I've got a condiment cup and just poked a hole in it. On some of the other lures, I'll use this hanger for the really big ones, or this was actually a zip tie. This was an old Combs package that I use for vertical stripes. That's what these came in. I've really found that just a lot of random stuff that you've got laying around your room can get repurposed. But for these little 1.5s, neither of those comb packaging worked, so I've made this one. Just poked it with a pencil and kind of worked it. The other thing I like about the condiment cup is that it's not a perfect circle. It looks a little bit more natural. So really, unfortunately, the only bad thing about the condiment cup is trying to get a good lineup of where you want it. So I'm just gonna kind of reference the eyeball down here, kind of line that up, because ideally where I want it's kind of like right above the lateral line, right up here on the top. So this is another reason why I've got 4 of these. The first one I might not like, and I'll adjust accordingly. So let's give that one a go. That's all right. Well, out of those 4, I'd say that one probably turned out the best. That one looked a little bit too big. That one looks like a square. That one's just a little too small, but it's all right. Let's go ahead and try to replicate that on the other side. All right, well, we got our shad spots. Worked out okay, I guess. So the last thing I'm going to do real quick on maybe 1 or 2 of these, just add a little bit of the transparent deep red right around the gill plate, just to make a little bit of a bleeding look to it. This always sounds great when I'm about to do it, and I'm never super happy with the end result, so maybe today will be different. We'll find out though. We'll do it to these ones. So just very, very lightly, I'm gonna go right up to the gill plate, add some red. Okay. If anyone is curious as to which lure blanks I'm using here, I've recently decided to use only lure parts online. A few reasons behind that. They're relatively local to me. I'm in Northern Illinois, and every time I order from them, I get it, even with their free shipping option, like in a day or two. It's super fast. I used to order from Schultz, which is like a direct from China one, and albeit their Schultz's prices are a lot better than Lure Parts Online. I would say about a quarter of the blanks that I order from Schultz don't run true. They require some type of tuning or tweaking. And nearly every blank that I've gotten from Lure Parts Online runs true without having to tweak it or tune it. So these 1.5s that I'm using is a 2721-02 part number on Lure Parts Online. These are the ones that I've been really happy with. The rattle's not as loud as I would like it to be. That's one of the things I like about the Schultz brand, is that it is so much louder than these Lure Parts Online one, but they work. They get the job done. Okay, next up is the eyeballs. I'm gonna go ahead and use a gold for the eyeballs on these. And again, if anyone's curious, this is Lure Parts Online 2810C. These are 7/32 size, and it is, so I guess the full part number 2810C-05009. If you want to go find it. Okay, so to attach some eyeballs to these guys, I normally use a super glue gel. I've used Gorilla Glue. I've also used I forget the name of the other brand, but as long as it's a gel type, it works out pretty well. The gel is key because any of the other, like, just liquid ones, it just runs all over it, and you really don't want that. So just put a super small dab. And the way I put these eyeballs on, I use a toothpick. I actually use 2 toothpicks. Just kind of get it right on the edge of the toothpick, like that. And then lay it in the socket, and you kind of roll the toothpick, and then you apply pressure down with the other toothpick. Works out pretty nicely. Okay, so once we got the eyeballs on, we're gonna heat set the eyeballs to let that super glue dry a little bit faster. Okay, once we got the eyeballs on, we can go ahead and remove the tape off the bills. Okay, so what we're going to be doing next is epoxying them, also known as clear coating. And for that, I use DevCon 30-minute 2-ton epoxy. All right, so we just go ahead and paint this stuff on and try to keep it nice and light. Don't want it to be too thick. There's something about this colder weather that just makes it, if you put it on too thick, it's gonna cloud. My last few batches of this stuff hasn't been horrible, but it hasn't been the best. It's been a little cloudy. One thing I'll do is, if I notice the epoxy starting to thicken up, I'll just run the heat gun in it real quick. It does 2 things. It liquefies everything really nicely again, but it's a double-edged sword. It makes it cure a lot faster, so it's going to start getting sticky much faster, so makes it easier to brush on, but it gives you a shorter window for it to paint it on there before it starts hardening up again. Alright, so once you're done with your lures, you just kind of go once around them real quick, smooth things over. Make sure you didn't lose any spots or miss any spots. And then the last thing that I do, I point them down. And then I run the heat gun over them to get that epoxy to kind of run and thin out again. You really don't want to do it that much, just very quick. And then just brush everything down kind of again. I found that makes the final epoxy coat a lot clearer and smoother. I used to have a few spots where there just wouldn't be any clear coat, or there'd be like a bubble, something like that. That quick run over with the heat gun seems to really help, and then just one final brush over. It's time for these guys to go on the drying rack. Alright, so we've got our Shad Squarebills off of the lure turner. It's been approximately 24 hours since I applied the epoxy, and I'd say it turned out pretty decent. No clear coat issues, or at least major issues. This one's got a little bit of a few dips in it. This one's got a few dips in it. But yeah, overall they look pretty decent. So last up is to put some size 6 hooks on these and add a split ring to the front. So gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then show you guys the finished product. Alright, so we got our size 6 hooks on, and I used 20-pound split rings. I think these are 6mm. They turned out pretty decent. I'm showing you guys both the red ones. So I only did 2 variations, one with a red gill and one just kind of standard. I think they turned out nicely. Again, I don't really know which shad that was that I snagged, so I'm just going to call this the Fox River Shad pattern and call it a day. So thanks for all stopping by. Definitely appreciate you all taking time to pay me a visit, and I hope you all found this video helpful. Thanks.